Hey everybody, welcome to Football Night New York, a living room edition, although it's sort of office Bart's mansion edition today. Jonas Schwartz, happy to be alongside Bart Scott, and we're happy to have Jamaal Westerman join us as well. Of course, played a few years for the Jets, now down at Rutgers doing his thing there. And guys, right off the bat, we know this is going to be a very unusual training camp. And Bart, I mean, it's such a strange time. How do you think the players can prepare for a season with the way this training camp is going to go?
Well, I'll tell you what, no one is going to suffer more than the late draft picks and the undrafted free agents, because they're not going to get the opportunities, because they're not going to have the games in which to get the plays where they can show what they can do with the bright lights on. See, the easiest thing to do in training camp is really cheat the drill. What happens is we all know what the script of the practice is all about. And what happens is you start to learn the tendencies about how your coaches uses certain personnel. But what happens is when you go and you play an opponent that you're not familiar with, you don't know what those tendencies are. You don't know how to use them in practice. So you can't cheat the formation because you know that this is the formation that he gets the ball. So it's going to allow players that may not be deserving to be on the team to shine just simply because they're smarter. They have a greater level of football acumen simply because they're veterans. So now the rookies coming in is going to be at a distinct disadvantage because they don't have the ability to be a professional. They haven't been in this system before. Everything is new for them.
You see, I think for the rookies, they may have an advantage because a lot of these rookies, what don't they have? That experience. They're hungry, right? They're just coming out of college. They want to make the NFL. So they've been training in the college system, training in their pro day system the whole time. And now they're hitting preseason camp. The vets may have been sitting home, taking a little bit more time, taking care of their body, but the rookies have been in it. So they'll have a chance to go out there. They'll probably be looser, be stronger, their hips, their hamstrings and calves, because they've been running around playing football kind of in the off season, just working out more. So I believe they'll come in with a little extra fire, where the vets, you're used to your routine, and now your routine is different. The locker room is different because of COVID. You're further away from your teammate. You can't look to the rookie and give him a little check because he doesn't know it yet. So the vets, they have to play a little bit more sound football. And for the rookies, it's really be quiet, stay out the way, and get as many mental and physical reps that you can get. Because in this league, the more mental and physical reps you can get, you'll be able to shine.
And obviously a part of that, right, is got to be, and I know nobody likes them, and I know players don't necessarily like playing in them, but preseason games is a part of that. So, and I always hate to bring up the name Victor Cruz around Bart, and, it brings
Jamaal
back
was
the
there.
memories.
It wasn't just me by myself.
Yeah.
Jamaal was on the field getting torched up. I was on the sideline eating hot dogs with Mark.
I don't cover out there. I
don't think we can blame him for the coverage of that play. But, guys like Victor Cruz and Wayne Corbett, to the point Bart was making. I mean, Jamaal, how do players, will they miss not playing in preseason games?
I definitely think they'll miss not playing in preseason games. I remember my old linebacker coach Bob Sutton said, it wasn't for OTAs and preseason, you would have never made the team. Because I believe in that last preseason game where a lot of the vets didn't want to play, I was fired up for it. So I had an opportunity. We were playing against, I think, the Eagles when Michael Vick just got out. So I got 2 sacks on Michael Vick. Everybody's like, you ran him down. I'm like, wait a minute. That's not the ATL Michael Vick. But I was happy I got to make some plays out there because of the confidence I gained from getting those reps in practice. So I think a lot of the young guys, they're not going to have that confidence to go out there and make the play because they didn't get it in practice.
Well, Bart, how do you think players can adjust without there being preseason games?
Well, it's going to have to come down to mental reps, and everybody's going to have to adjust to Zoom meetings, being away from your teammates, but also not that person-to-person contact. They're not going to be able to get those mental reps, those physical reps, but also be able to get coached up, because I'm going to imagine that practice you're going to socially distance as well. You're going to separate the linebackers. Everybody's going to come to the sideline. They're not going to be in those dog piles, talking to each other, screaming at each other. Everybody's going to be masked up. And really, veterans are going to be going into self-preservation mode, because ultimately a rookie there represents somebody there to take my job. So if I'm a veteran, some veterans are going to keep it to themselves if they're not secure in their position, because they know they have an added advantage. They've been in the system. They understand the verbiage. They know the checks. Meanwhile, the rookie's looking to the veteran for help. But essentially, how many people are going to help somebody take their jobs now, because they know that they may be able to steal another year? Because when it comes down to it, we know that it's going to be a lot of turnover going on during this season. So they're going to have to, we're going to have to use all kind of bodies. We don't know if people are going to get hurt because of soft tissue. We don't know if people are going to be hurt and miss games because of COVID. So I think that, coordinators are going to want to keep veterans that they know they can coach up, that's ready to play now. And we may see a lot of rookies that would have been able to make the team because they can just play special teams. not make the team because they don't have the added value of being able to step out in the lineup and really, replace the middle linebacker if somebody goes down.
All right, let's move on to what are the odds, and it's plus 380 for the Jets to get 5 wins, which means you bet $100 you can win 380. 7 wins is plus 280. 9 wins plus 675. 10 wins plus 1,400. So you can see Vegas is going against the Jets, getting double-digit wins like most people at this point, especially with the Jamal Adams trade and C.J. Mosley opting out. But if they're going to get 9 wins, Jamaal, who would you say has more pressure to perform better this year, the Jets offense or defense? Which unit has to rise to the occasion more?
I know a lot of people say the offense, but I believe it's the defense. I mean, like you said, they're missing Jamal Adams. Not only a great safety, but he did it in the pass game. He did it coming up to the line, be able to make big stops in the backfield, being able to rush the passer. So now you've manufactured a lot of players in having that one guy. Now GW, the defensive coordinator, is going to have to say, listen, you're the guy that's going to rush the passer at defensive end. Zuniga, you're the guy that's going to have to drop in coverage and rush the passer. So he's going to have to look at his roster and say, maybe you're just good at playing the run. You're just good at rushing the passer, because they don't have those dominant players like Jamal Adams. Losing that piece, I think it really hurts them, and you're going to have to manufacture different ways to get after the quarterback, different ways to have many guys get involved in the game plan.
See, I would have to beg to differ, because I think that you're going to get, maybe not the same level of productivity from McDougal, but you're going to get it from him and May, and you have Austin coming in. But you're going to also remember, and not to be underestimated, because he probably wouldn't make this roster if C.J. Mosley doesn't opt out, but Avery Williamson is an elite player, and he's a guy that can kind of have that productivity. On the flip side, they're going to be successful. It's going to be because they're going to rest this defense, and because Sam Darnold's putting points on the board, which allows these teams to become one-dimensional, which allows them to manufacture some of these elaborate blitzes, because they really don't have your specialty, which is a pass rusher, on the roster. So it's going to be because Sam Darnold is showing the growth and taking it to the next level. Not only does the wins and losses that depend on this and Sam Darnold's shoulders, and if Becton can protect him, but I think Adam Gase's job depends on the growth of Sam Darnold, and if he's going to be able to have the luxury or the privilege to be able to coach him in the future.
It's interesting because you bring up that point about, the pressure that's on a few people on the offense. Darnold to make that jump, Gase to bring it out of him in order to, keep that job security where he wants it to be. And then also Le'Veon Bell, who obviously had a disappointing first year here, never seemed on the same page as Adam Gase, but boy, has come into this training camp in tip-top shape, and Jeane Coakley had a chance to catch up with him.
Everybody's talking about the best shape you've ever been in. What clicked? Why did you focus on that in the offseason?
Me personally, I just think that's just something I wanted to do. I've always, when I've been training, I've always been, kind of competing with people around me, or kind of just doing what my trainer says to do. I never really took that step to where, like, I want to be the best that I'll possibly be. Like, even like sometimes when you watch like Michael Jordan's documentary, right? And I'm a Jordan athlete. I signed with Jordan. So I look at Michael Jordan, like, what really made him great? It's like, you don't really know. You don't know what made him great. Like, what did he do? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's been times where people will try to beat him at the gym at 5 a.m., and you'll wake up at 4:30 try to beat him at the gym. But when you get there at 4:30 at the gym, he's already in a full-blown sweat working out. So it's like, dang, what time did he get at the gym? You don't even know what he's doing. It's like, that's what I'm trying to be on. Yeah, I show sometimes where, like, I'm at the boxing at 1 a.m. I'll show it sometimes, but I don't show it all the time. I don't show nearly everything that I do, not even close. On
social media, you seem shocked about the whole Jamal Adams trade. What's your feelings now on it?
Yeah, I mean, at first I wouldn't say it shocked me just because I kind of knew it was going to come because he kept doing everything that was happening. But now it's like, it is what it is. I wish the best for Jamal. Jamal's a great player. He's going to have a great year. I hope he stays healthy. And so when we play on week 14, I get to play against him. It's going to be fun. He done made it a whole thing, and everybody kind of watching it now. But it's going to be fun. Jamal's a guy I love. He's still, I look at him as a little brother still. Regardless, I'll talk to him about anything. But obviously, I didn't agree with the way everything went down, and I expressed it through social media. So everybody could know. I did that on purpose.
What can we expect from this offense? Your second year with Adam Gase, Sam Darnold's second year with Adam Gase, you got Frank Gore. What can we expect from this offense?
I know for a fact we'll be a lot better than last year. I just think the reason why I'm so confident about that is because, one, it's like you said, it's the second year. I think guys going to understand it a little better. Earlier in the year, last year, our biggest problem was, one, it was the first year in the offense. Guys didn't really understand, like, you know, where to go or, you know, who to get every time. You know what I'm saying? It may be like 10 guys understood it, but like on that one time, maybe one guy mess it up and mess up the play. You know what I'm saying? I think, and then, you know, Sam ended up getting sick, and that kind of sets back again, you know, and plus the O-line getting in and out, guys getting dinged up. It just, we never really fully got on the same page. I see earlier in our walkthroughs right now, we're on a weekend, but our walkthroughs and just how the way guys walking around, guys want to win, guys are motivated, guys want to prove people wrong. Guys are in their playbooks and want to learn the offense. So now it's going to be about getting there healthy and making sure we execute when we need to.
Now, Bart, it's really interesting listening to Le'Veon Bell. I got to tell you, he's been very impressive. And I understand talk is cheap. It's what you do on the field. I get all that. But still, he's been very impressive with what he said. And I think from a leadership standpoint, the way that he shouldered the blame, even though we know the offensive line certainly shared in that blame last year, and he wasn't on the same page with the coach. And the fact that I sort of thought him calling out Jamaal Adams for how Jamaal got himself out of town and sort of was a hypocrite about it, quite honestly, I thought was an interesting sort of place for him as in terms of turning a leader into a leader for this team. What do you think of how Le'Veon Bell has sort of reshaped not only his physical, attributes, but also his image as a leader for the Jets going into year two?
Actually, I think you hit the nail on the head talking about him changing the narrative about what his brand was. Being in Pittsburgh, he came off as a selfish guy, an eye guy. He opted out. But then as he came back, he handled everything like a professional. He never pointed the finger last year. You talk about when he was in trade rumors, he handled that like a professional, understood it was a business, seemed like he was on the same page. And I think really the last part that came back from Le'Veon, he talks about how maybe he took things for granted and maybe, he was used to being on the top, now he's hungry. Well, I think what happened was last year he had the vision, but his eyes couldn't perform, his body couldn't get him through the holes. And I think he had, it's going to be important for Adam Gase to be able to kind of figure out his running style. And he's got the horses in front of him now that can maybe move the pile and give him time and have patience. But he's going to have to show that he can explode through the hole. And that remains to be seen. But he seems motivated. He's only 28 years old. He still should have 2 or 3 good prime years at the top before he goes to be a rotational running back in this league.
Jamaal, Bart talks about getting that burst back. Do you think knocking that rust off last year and yet his second year back will enable him to do that?
I definitely think Le'Veon Bell will be a better player this year because of, like Bart said, they got the big offensive lineman with the first pick. They have the horses up front. But I think the bigger thing with him is that leadership, like you spoke about. Being with the Steelers, I think he learned that no matter the situation, they can get it done. And with this year, it's unprecedented. We're not going to know who's going to be out of the game. What game you may not be able to play, which coach will be out of the game. So when you're playing in these games, you'll really have an opportunity to win every game because of the situation. So as he's looking at it now, he's trying to set the tone where it's not only we're going to be halfway good, it's like, let's reach for more. Let's try to be the best that we can be, because you'll be playing the game, the starting quarterback's out. Yeah, it may be Patty Mahomes, but he's down. How does that change that team? So no matter which game you're in, I think every week, if you started today, we can really win as many games as we need to get into the playoff, because of this year is going to be crazy. People are going to be out, and you're not going to know what's going to happen when that game day hits on Sunday.
All right, we're almost out of time, but before we go, Jamaal, I just got to ask you one, and it's the crucial question of this whole thing. Give us the one best piece of advice you ever got from Bart Scott, and it's got to be PG. It's got to be family friendly.
Ooh, the one piece of advice I got from Bart. Listen, Bart was one of the guys not trying to let anybody take his job. So he didn't really give out too many advice. But his one thing was, hey, hit him hard and hit him fast. Because he was like, as long as you're being a physical player, you'll be all right in this league. So I'll take that from him.
Way to chop wood, Jamaal.
I know you love Rutgers. I'll get you those tickets next season. You with me. You my guy.
Aren't they giving those tickets away? They're free $99, right?
Hey, listen,
let me tell you, is coming. The best advice he ever gave me was you can always use some more cheese on the taco. I believe, and I hear that basically every week, as a matter of fact. Hey, Jamaal, thank you for joining us. Bart, great as always to see you, and thanks for watching Football Night New York.